so good to see you today. Thanks so much for being here for day 19 of the Magic is Real Manifesting Challenge. I'm so glad you're here. I would love to hear how the challenge is going for you or has gone for you, or what insights you have and what things you've discovered along the way. I am very excited. We're on day 19. It has been 20 days. I'm already starting to see things unfolding in ways that I didn't actually expect, but they're unfolding in ways where I'm starting to see, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. I'm going with it. I'm going with it. I'm also seeing the number 1111, 111 constantly every single day this week. I've seen it. So it's just cool to see how things start to unfold. And it's not always in the way you expected, but it all comes together. Now, I want to talk today about the concept of circumstances don't matter in the manifesting world. So circumstances are what we're experiencing in our 3D world. And because this is the only world that we know, having very little to no remembrance of where we came from before we got here, we see things happening and we see this is what's happening in our lives right now. And we think, okay, but if I'm manifesting being a millionaire, I'm a school teacher. Teachers just don't get paid that much money. End of story. How's that going to happen? Well, circumstances don't matter, because if you're manifesting for having $1 million and why you want to have that $1 million and how it will feel to have those $1 million, you could win the lottery tomorrow. You could write a book and it becomes a bestseller. You don't know. It does take some action, but it doesn't take, okay, how can I become a millionaire? Some people do take that route. Well, I'm going to become an investment banker and invest in all these things. And then I'm going to become an investor in bigger things and create my own investment company or whatever it is. Um, you can do that too. That's great. But if that's not your interest and you're like, well, how would little old me ever reach that level of success? Let the universe figure it out. I mean, stay on your path, go towards what you want. A lot of people have said, okay, but okay, so I'm interested in this specific person and I really think that we would be together IRL. And so, but that person doesn't know me. And also that person lives in Germany and I live in the United States. Well, how's that going to happen? Honestly, it's not about stalking that person. Please don't stalk anybody. That would be crazy. In fact, manifestations won't work if they're not in everyone's highest and best good. So you can stalk away because you have some delusion that you're with somebody and you actually mean harm, or you're not, or you're mentally unwell. And in those cases, manifestation isn't going to work because it's actually a danger to other people. So as long as it's in everyone's highest and best good, and you're like, how am I going to meet that person? I have friends that got married because he is a voice actor and she is a graphic artist and she was a fan of his. And it's granted, she's very, very attractive. So it's not like she reached out to him and he was like, I'm not interested. I mean, she reached out and was like, I'm a fan of your work. And what she does sort of overlaps with what he does. And they ended up together, even though she was a fan. So sometimes that can happen, but most of the time, you don't even have to take action. Just, I know that this is my person. Maybe I met them one time. Maybe I met them and I know we had this connection. Lean back. Don't do anything. Let go and let God. Distance doesn't matter, because I've also heard stories of I wanted this to date this person, but they were in another country and I'm not moving there. They're not moving here. Well, before you know it, some mutual friend called and said, oh, so and so is actually going to be visiting the United States and happens to be visiting your state. Would you be willing to have lunch with them and show them around? And then they ended up dating. So just trust. Now, I do want to distinguish between, okay, there's something in manifesting that I have always found problematic, and that is the idea that every single thing that happens around us, we've created. I think that's really can be very minimizing to people who've been through horrendous tragedies, grief, loss, circumstances. I personally believe that the reason for that is that we didn't create that. There are times when we might have a negative mindset and we're always thinking the worst is going to happen, the worst is going to happen. And so the worst happens. But I don't believe that we always create those situations. I think sometimes it's a life path thing rather than a manifestation thing. So please don't think that I'm minimizing any kind of horrible loss, grief, tragedy, and saying, well, you created that. I once had someone tell me, you know, you're creating your own migraines, right? And that was not, don't, no. My father has migraines. My cousin have migraines. My sister has migraines. We all have migraines. It is a neurological disorder. I have migraines because I inherited it. Now, can I manifest improvement in symptoms? Absolutely. But I really didn't. I now understand that he was coming from a place of manifestation, but I was not, first of all, in a place to receive that. I was not interested in the spiritual world. And also, I was in pain. So don't tell me that I'm creating my own migraines. So that's something to be very, I just want to mention that I know it sounds like I'm saying, well, it's all you. You're creating every single thing that happens to you. But to a degree, as my tattoo says, life is but a dream. So we are powerful creators and we can create what we want. So part of the circumstances don't matter theory is you just kind of have to believe it. You have to choose to believe that, even if you're dubious, even if you're skeptical, which is why my last episode was actually a meditation to help us get out of that disbelief, because that it's a component, right? We all kind of go, does this really work? Or am I just, is this magical thinking? Well, you just have to take the leap of faith, decide that you believe circumstances don't matter. I can change any circumstance there is. Now, obviously, there are exceptions. Like I said, there are life path things. If somebody is literally, a family member of yours is literally dying and they have a week to live, they're not going to spontaneously jump up out of bed and start doing the hula and like suddenly they're 40 years old and instead of 80. There's certain things that just do not agree with the laws of physics, of science, and it's their time. So we can't like reverse. However, we can improve. We can improve symptoms. We can heal. We can have chronic ailments and manifest better health. So the concept is circumstances do not matter. Do you not know by now that the universe has your back? Do you not know how the universe works? Just know that you do not have to figure it out. It is not up to you to figure out the how. It is up to you to do the asking. You might even just pray it. I don't even know that there's really a difference between manifesting and praying. Sometimes I think it's one and the same. And depending on your spiritual beliefs, your religion, whatever practices that you feel resonate with you, that's great. It's an asking. It's saying, I am ready to receive this beautiful thing. And I know that right now it looks like that thing can't possibly ever happen. How is that? How would it ever happen? Even just things like, I mean, I don't know if this is a great analogy, but it's coming to mind. When I was a little kid, I had a big birthmark on my face, but I was so interested in acting and Hollywood. And I had all the posters on my wall. I would watch behind the scenes of movies all the time. But I was like, well, I'm not going to ever be an actor because I have a big birthmark on my face. Well, yes, I did have surgery to remove that birthmark, but I do have a facial scar. I have had plastic surgery, and my features are asymmetrical. I have very good lighting here. You might not be able to see it, but in person you see it. So I always thought, but I live in Connecticut and I'm just some regular girl with like a gap between her teeth and braces and frizzy hair and whatever. And I mean, that's just not something I ever considered. So I didn't pursue it. In fact, I did some theater in high school and I just did it as like a fill-in. I wasn't pursuing it because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I could make it. Well, just synchronistically, my senior year of high school, my dad was like, we're moving to California. And okay, still wasn't thinking of acting. I was trying to figure out my life. Ended up through many years, ending up living in right near Universal Studios. Ended up just with a day job, just a customer service job. And then I was depressed and I'm like, I guess I'll take some acting classes and I guess I'll do that. And, ultimately I did become a voice actor. Then I became a commercial actor. And I've also done some theatrical acting as well. But that's not exactly probably the best analogy because that's something that really came down to my own belief. But at the same time, I felt my obstacles were, well, I'm not good enough. I didn't believe that I had, I'm not gonna be an actor. I'm not attractive. I mean, that wasn't part of my self-concept. So again, talking about self-concept, it's also how you see yourself because other people found me attractive. And even if I'm not attractive conventionally, which that's always a subjective thing, right? It doesn't matter. Do you have the talent? Can you do the job? Yes, there is an element in Hollywood of you have to be a model, but not necessarily. If you are a fantastic actor, you work at your craft, there's so many people of all ethnicities, shapes, sizes, looks that have made it as an actor because they are talented. So that was a limiting belief that I had that, again, wasn't insurmountable, but to me, it happened regardless. It happened seamlessly without me going, I'm going to go to Hollywood and be an actor. It was like I fell into it and just kept meeting the right people along the way. And ultimately, it was my path. And I did manifest that even just by having the posters on my wall, surrounding myself, going to theater shows. It was all I ever wanted. I felt it in my resonance with it. So again, you have to choose right now that you believe that we are powerful creators, that we can project what we want using using our imagination in everyone's highest and best good and with harm to none. And once we just believe it. So keep just saying sometimes part of manifesting isn't just I am abundant, I am wealthy, I have a partner that I love. Sometimes an important part of the manifesting process is also I am a powerful creator. Manifestation always works for me. I get everything that I want and more in everyone's highest and best good. I don't know how it happens, but it happens. So I'll tell you one more story. I was broke. I couldn't pay my rent. I lived in LA. So I I was at a 12-step meeting and I was freaking out. And I talked to this woman and I said, I don't know what to do. Do I babysit? Do I get a job? Do I get a day job? Do I temp? What do I do? She said, stop trying to figure it out. Fortunately, my landlord was a saint and he was like, I trust you. I love having you here. It's not a big deal. You pay it when you can. So that's that. There's that. And I'm like, I am negative. I don't have money. I just don't have money. And so this woman I spoke with, my 12-step group, said, okay, I want you to do an exercise. And this is called the God box exercise. So I want you to take a box, write down all of your fears and worries on little pieces of paper, fold them up, put them in the box, and then say, God, I now release this problem and I give it to you to figure out. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm trusting you. Please just let it work out. The next day, I got a call from an old friend who said, hey, I'm doing a casting. And I know that you worked in the music industry, so we're looking for musicians for a commercial. Can you give us some names? I said, sure. And he's like, I'll take you out to lunch as a thank you. I said, you don't have to do that. I just love doing this kind of thing. He said, you do? Well, we actually need some help over at the casting office. So I can't say there's going to be work for the long term, but we have someone that's out and we need someone to work the door for the commercial auditions. So I went in there. While I was there, one of the employees said to me, hey, we're doing a casting and we're having trouble getting people to do the assignment because it's what we have to do is for this product, for this client, they want us to have people write tweets. I don't use Twitter anymore, but there was a time, and write a tweet about why you love their product. And then I was like, well, what's it for? She said, oh, it's just something because it's NDAs, right? We're not allowed to say a lot of times what the project is. They said, oh, it's just a little video project. And I said, well, how much does it pay? And she's like, I don't know, probably like $300 or something. And she's like, well, you just do it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So I went on Twitter and I'm like, I love this paper towel brand because, it was something sort of like funny and witty. And then they actually said, yeah, we'd like to interview you. And I was like, okay, well, when am I going to do this? And she's like, don't worry, they want to meet you at your gym because I had written about how I mopped up the sweat after CrossFit. Who does that with paper towels? No one, but it sounded cute. And she's like, they'll meet you at your gym and they'll do the interview there. I was like, cool. So I do my workout. I'm sweaty. I don't have no makeup on. I've not done my hair. I'm literally just finished a CrossFit workout. And all of a sudden, this camera crew comes in. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty big camera crew. It's not I was assuming it was just like a one-on-one, sit down with a little camera and be like, oh yeah, so tell us about the product. Well, shot the thing, but it was actually they had me doing like push-ups and talking about their product and they were like, well, guess what? If you like this paper towel brand, ours is better and here's why. So we're going to show you how it can clean up a protein shake off the gym floor. Cool. So I signed the paper and then I was like, oh my God, it pays $800 for the day. That's cool. Signed off on it, got the check. Little did I know this was actually a national commercial. I'm getting chills. I ended up getting paid $20,000 from that commercial. Every time I went to the mailbox, more money, more money, more money. It got to the point where it was addictive. And once it ran out, I'm like, are we sure it didn't get lost? You just keep like, is there another $5,000 in there? I made $20,000 in that, just like that. So let it go, let God, less forcing, more allowing. Trust in the process of manifesting itself, even though I know it seems hard. It's hard for us to believe that we can actually change something. There are people that are like, I don't know what to do. I'm $1 million in debt. How is this going to get solved? To some degree, it's not your business how it gets solved. I mean, I'm not saying don't do anything. Yes, talk to a financial professional or whatever, but also don't forget to just pray, manifest, and ask for an answer. Show it to me. I don't know how it happens. Unfold. Okay, another story, one more story. Then I will be quiet. I was living in Virginia for 2 years. I moved from LA to Virginia 3 years ago. And I was thinking it would be a better life and I'd get back on track with voiceover because I'd healed from my vocal disorder. And now the cost of living would be less and I'd be near my parents. So I moved out there and it was some of the worst financial years of my life, just nothing happening. Lost all my money. Only saving grace was that I received an inheritance that got me through and helped me pay for the move, but I had no money of my own. And one night I'm out driving for DoorDash and I'm just so depressed. I found out my rent was going to go up like $200. I already was struggling to pay it. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I don't want to stay in Virginia. There's just nothing happening here for me. So I said, spirit guides, God, angels, Jesus, all the ascended masters, please show me the path forward. Where do I need to go? How do I get myself out of this? I need to go to a place where I'm in a different place where there's more happening. And please just show me the path. The next day, my friend Candace gives me a call from Prescott, Arizona. She said, I just had this total epiphany. She's like, there's this job opening in Prescott, and I think you'd be perfect for it. And she goes, oh my God, I'm getting chills. She's like, I think you need to be here. And she said, I'm a landlord. I have an apartment for you. I'm getting chills again. She said, I have an apartment for you. I have this job for you. So just come here. I hadn't even talked to her in a while. Like, I hadn't told her exactly what was going on. And sure enough, I said, yeah, I just went, thank you. Wow, that was quick. Answered the call, got ready, moved to Prescott, Arizona. It has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. I mean, in terms of I live in the place that has everything I've ever written down. I want to live in the mountains. I want it to be a small town where everyone knows each other, but it needs to be near a big city. I drive to LA once a month and I spend 2 weeks there, a week or 2 weeks there. I work for Candace. We put on this amazing music festival. I have a beautiful apartment thanks to her that is affordable, like way more affordable than what I had in Virginia or even in LA, and tons of space. I have everything I need for me and my cats and my booth. And it has been the perfect move. So again, is it prayer? Is it manifestation? I don't even think there's necessarily a differentiation between the two. I think you're co-creating with God, with the universe, with source to create the life that you want to live. It doesn't mean you're not going to have problems. It doesn't mean you won't have challenges. There's no point to being on this earth if we don't have challenges that we have to learn to overcome, and we have to find the love among the pain. We have to find forgiveness, compassion, self-love, self-forgiveness. It's part of the journey. So we're not going to have a perfect life. I'm just cruising on my yacht, making $1 billion a year, and I have the hottest husband who's like a supermodel, and he's also like works for the UN, like Angelina Jolie, and he's like the best person in the world. And everybody in my life is healthy and happy, and we're all just taking vacations all the time, and I don't even have to work because I'm so rich. Obviously, that wouldn't give us anything to learn from. So life isn't easy, but we can make the best of it and we can actually create miracles in our lives. It's happened to me enough times now that, as skeptical as I am by nature, as logical as I am by nature, I now believe 110%, if not more, if there is such a thing, that manifestation is real. It's been backed up by many of my near-death experiencers. And we are co-creators. We are spirit. We are not just we're not just our bodies. We are also powerful beings, and we are God. We are little pieces of God spread around. So that's another reason why be kind to one another, please. Help one another, please. Find compassion and tolerance, and try to put yourself in another person's shoes if you can. Just be a good person. It's not easy for everyone, but we're all the same. We're all the same God particles living in these different bodies, in these different countries, in these different places with different ideologies and different thoughts and ideas. But overall, we are all one. So try to look through to the souls of other people and see their humanity, because every single one of us is a piece of God. Thank you so much for listening to my TED Talk. I love you. Even if I've never met you, I have love for you. We are all the same, and we are all part of God. And so, therefore, I love myself and I love you equally. Thank you for being here. Please spread the word. Let people know about this challenge. Let people know about the podcast, and look forward to more interviews with near-death experiencers and mediums and other spiritual people about their spiritual journeys. See you soon.